All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me with Notes with Mr. Jankowski again today. And we're doing page 60 here in our math notebook. We did some of the notes already on Monday. If you were with me in the Zoom meeting on Monday, we talked about the order of operations, and you can see the top of this page has been partially completed. I'm going to zoom in so we can take a look at this and review. Order of operations, the abbreviation for the acronym is PEMDAS, and that stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, addition and subtraction. And these are the order, this is the order of operations. So if you see a problem like this, or an expression like this, what do you do first? Do you solve what's easiest for you to solve first? Do you solve what's hardest? What do you do? Well, you follow the order of operations. You solve what's in parentheses first, followed by exponents, and then multiplication and division. And this is where things get confusing for some students. We talked about this on Monday, but multiplication and division are kind of at the same or in the same order. You just go left to right. So depending on what you see in your problem, you might do multiplication first. You might do division first after solving for parentheses and exponents, depending on what comes first, left to right. Same with addition and subtraction. So finally, at the end, you solve for addition and subtraction, but you go left to right. You don't necessarily do addition first. What we're going to do is a series of examples here and talk about how to solve these problems with examples. I'm going to be going outside of my normal space here for taking notes, and you're going to have to probably do the same for your notes as well, because when you're completing problems or solving problems like this with order of operations, I want to see your work, and I want to see the order in which you solve the problem. So parentheses, this is our next set of notes that we're going to write about, parentheses. And I want you just to have a reminder here for parentheses. We're going to write this reminder down, and I would like you to do the same. Parentheses, remember. To perform operations. And I'm taking this directly out of the book. All of these definitions and things are directly out of the book. So you get that information straight from the source. So remember to perform operations inside parentheses. First, when you evaluate an expression. So I'm going to give you an example here. The example expression I'm going to give you, and I'm going to put a little barrier because I went over the line. The example I want to give you is this one, and it's an example with a lot of parentheses. So we got 12 times, and then big set of parentheses here, 4 plus 2 inside smaller parentheses, divided by 4 minus 7. Okay, so I've got to reposition my slate here, and this is where I don't have any space. So I'm going to finish this problem on the side, and if you're working on this at home, you're going to want to have some space of scratch paper as well, because there's just no way you can show all your work and not have more space or need more space. And you know what? I forgot there was a 2 there, exponent of 2 on the side. There we go. Minus 7. Okay, so if we look at this and we think of order of operations, parentheses go first. But we have 2 set of parentheses here, don't we? We have an inner set of parentheses and an outer set of parentheses. So we're going to look at the outer set of parentheses and what's inside. Now, the parentheses we do first, so this is what I'm going to do first. And then I'm going to go back to the order of operations because I have parentheses within parentheses, and this is what I'm going to solve first before I do the rest of what's inside there. So I'm going to circle that with blue because I'm doing a blue parentheses here. This is what I'm going to be solving first. I'm not going to be doing the exponent yet. So 4 plus 2 is 6, okay? And I know that. I'm going to keep these parentheses around it. We have that exponent of 2 still there. This is all still divided by 4 times 12 minus 7. Okay, so then we look at parentheses again. Well, we've got parentheses here. This is what we still have to do, right? And within this parentheses, we have a 6 in parentheses, but there's nothing inside that to solve. And then we have the exponent of 2, and exponents is next. So we're going to do exponents next. All right, I just got an interruption from a phone call. That's wonderful. To make sure that doesn't happen again, I am going to put myself on Do Not Disturb. Okay, so from here, I'm going to use exponents and solve that. So I'm going to use my exponent color, which was green in my notes from above, and I'm going to do this next. Now, 6 to the second power is 6 times 6. So 6 times 6 is 36. So I'm going to write that down. This is still divided by 4 in parentheses. And we still have that 12 times and minus 7. Okay, so now I'm still doing what's inside the parentheses. I'm going to keep doing that. In this case, it's 36 divided by 4, and 36 divided by 4 is 9. I'm going to put 9 right here, but we still have that 12 times and minus 7. Okay, now order of operations says that we do multiplication and division left to right, followed by a subtraction or addition and subtraction left to right. In this case, we don't have any division. We just have multiplication. And so we'll do that first, 12 times 9. Now, I did this earlier, but I'll do this again. I don't know what that is offhand, but 12 times 9, 2 times 9 is 18. Carry the 1. 1 times 9 is 9 plus 1, so 108. So this would be 108 minus 7, and 108 minus 7 is 101. So this big, long equation that we did, this expression that we did, and we solved using the order of operations, let me zoom out a little bit, this equals to 101. Now, if I didn't follow the order of operations here, I would definitely not get the right answer. Or at least I'd have a very slim chance of getting the right answer, because if I'm doing things out of order, the results are different. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, while you're doing this. Order of operations is extremely important. So that was the first example I wanted to give you. Let's give you another example here. Our next is multiplication, or exponents rather. That's the next problem we have here, exponents. So exponents comes after parentheses, and I'm just going to write this here in my notes. Exponents are found after parentheses, after solving what's in parentheses, right? Or performing operations inside parentheses. But I'm just going to put after parentheses. Okay, and I have a good example here. Let's do this example. Okay, let's see. I believe this is 5 to the third power plus 12 minus 2 to the second power. All right, so exponents are found after parentheses, and we have two numbers with exponents. We have 5 to the third, and we have this parentheses with an exponent there. So let's follow the order of operations and solve this one over on this side. 5 to the third plus 12 minus 2 to the power of 2. So first thing we do is find what's inside the parentheses. We solve for what's inside the parentheses. So I'm looking at this 12 minus 2. That's what I'm going to do first. So I'll circle that. 12 minus 2 is 10. So I have 5 to the third plus 10 squared, because that squared is still there. And I could put those parentheses around that still if I wanted to. Now, I'm done with what's inside parentheses. I need to move on to exponents. So instead of adding 5 plus 10 and getting 15, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to solve exponents first. I'm going to do 5 to the third and 10 to the 2, or 10 to the second power, 10 squared. Now 5 to the third power, 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125. And 10 to the second power is 10 times 10, which is 100. And then finally, we have addition that I do next. And 125 plus 100 is 225. So this one is 225, a little less time consuming than the one we did earlier. Okay, so exponents come after you complete the find the value of what's inside the parentheses, or perform the operation within the parentheses. All right, multiplication and division. I'm going to combine this into one. And I already said this, but these are on equal ground. So it's not that you do multiplication first, even though multiplication is first in PEMDAS. It is listed first in the order of operations. It's on equal ground with division. You do them together, just left to right. Okay, so if you see division first, left to right, then you do division first. If you see multiplication first, left to right, then you do multiplication. So this is completed after exponents. And remember, this is left. Oh, I've misspelled remember. Let's fix that. There's an E in there. Remember, left to right. All right. And I think I can fit my example here in this double space. So let's get an example here for you that shows multiplication and division quite a bit. And let's use this one here. So 4 times 9 divided by 3. And all of this is to the second power. Okay. So 4 times 9 divided by 3. You know what I'm going to do here? This is kind of making me confused. I'm going to change this multiplication symbol to a dot, because that makes it a lot easier for me to see. I see that X and I think of a variable. So let's do this. Now, first things first, order of operations. We do what's inside the parentheses. Now, we are just talking about multiplication and division. This would go first because it's inside the parentheses, even though it's division. Remember, we have to follow the order of operations, and parentheses goes first. Everything inside the parentheses we'd have to go do first. So 9 divided by 3, let's circle this in blue because this is the parentheses we're going to do first. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So we're left with 4 times 3 to the second power. Okay. Next, we do exponents because that's next in the order of operations. So 3 to the second power, 3 times 3 is 9. So you'd have 4 times 9. And then 4 times 9, multiplication and division would come after exponents. 4 times 9 is 36. So this equals 36. Fix that. And there's another example. So in this one, I want to make sure that you guys understand that although we do have a division problem that we did first, we would only do that. We only did that because it is inside the parentheses. We solve for parentheses first, then we do exponents, and then finally we do multiplication. Okay, so let's go down to our next problem here, and I'm going to circle this in orange. There we go. Show this multiplication step. Okay, finally we have addition and subtraction. And again, I'm going to talk about these as being together because they are. You don't do addition first necessarily. Put parentheses around that. You don't do a division first necessarily, or addition first necessarily, sorry. You don't do subtraction first necessarily. It depends on the order they are in left to right. So this is completed after multiplication and division. This is completed last. And this is left to right. And seriously, though, this is where people are going to make those mistakes and get problems wrong because they're not going to be doing this left to right. They're just going to be going in order of addition, then subtraction. And that will make things hard. So let's give another example here. Let's do the example. Let's see. I like this one. Let's do 15 minus 7 times 2. And you know what? I'm not going to use the x. I'm going to use a multiplication dot. Plus 2 to the third. Okay, so in this case, this is a perfect example. Let's take a look and see what we've got. We don't have any parentheses, right? No parentheses to worry about. So we move to exponents. We do have an exponent here. We have 2 to the third power, and that would be 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, and then times 2 is 8. So I'll put an 8 there. This will be plus 2 times 7 minus 15. Okay, so there we go. Next, we would look at multiplication and division. And I see one multiplication portion of the problem here, and that's right here. 7 times 2. So that's what we're going to do next. So 7 times 2 is 14. Then I still have the 15 minus 14 and plus 8. Now, this is a perfect example of completing this left to right. We are moving on to addition and subtraction in the order of operations. But if I was to do this the wrong way, and if I was to add first and say 14 plus 8, well, that would give me, let's see, 14 plus 8, 22. And then 22 would be here, 15 minus 22. That answer would be negative 7. But that's not the case. That is not the correct answer for this, because what we need to do is complete this left to right. So we're going to start off with subtraction. 15 minus 14 is 1. And then we add the 8. 1 plus 8, and actually let me circle this in red because I'm showing that step. And then 1 plus 8 would be last, and that equals 9. Okay, so definitely not the right answer if you do the order of operations incorrectly, especially at the end. If you were to add first and then subtract, you would have gotten that answer incorrect. So make sure that you follow the order of operation. And when you get to multiplication and division, and addition and subtraction, remember multiplication and division are on the same ground. Okay, you don't do one before the other unless you see them left to right, showing you which one to do first. Additionally, the same goes for addition and subtraction, and we just showed that here. Uh-oh. Let me fix that. Hang on. Okay, and we just showed that here with this, where we had these two parts at the end, a subtraction part and then an addition part. We had to do subtraction first and then addition to get the correct answer. So ladies and gentlemen, I know that was a lot. I'm going to do another video with some additional examples because I feel like this sort of thing, you just need practice to get it right. And so I'm going to continue with some more examples on page 60 in the next video. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time.